We are pleased today to be joined by the District Attorney at Bristol County, District Attorney Tom Quinn. District Attorney, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Let me ask you, first of all, how are you doing? How's your staff doing? And how are you coping with the restrictions that have been placed on all of us because of COVID-19?
Well, I'm doing well. I consider myself fortunate. Despite the restrictions, we still have some mobility. I go back about 2.5, almost 3 weeks. I think it was Friday the 13th, ironically, was the date. That's when everything kind of started to break. So my first concern is the health and well-being of the staff under my control. So as of that afternoon and then Monday, I've ordered everybody to work from home with the exception of necessary employees. We took into consideration the people in certainly vulnerable groups. We have several individual women who are pregnant. We have people in particular age group, some with health issues. But I think this is something that I wanted to be ahead of because you could see what was coming. And I think trying to limit contact is the best. However, we have to continue to operate because there's serious things going on. So I'm in the office every day. I have staff, some people are in and out, but we're trying to make sure that everybody is safe. So we're functioning, we're responding to everything. The courthouses basically are closed. The hearings are conducted over the phone. The judges are present in court and the clerk, we are doing it via phone. So the hearings, whatever hearings are taking place over the phone. And in some cases, video conference for individuals who are at the jail. They can be put on the video conference like we're doing now, and the hearing can be addressed that way.
So let me ask you, the courthouses, the one in Fall River, New Bedford, and the like, you said they are closed. I believe there were some emergency hearings that could go on if people need to be there in person. But as far as you're concerned, the day-to-day activity, the updates on cases, that's still going on, but remotely and via phone or video conference?
That's correct. Again, everybody has to be available. People are at home. We're approaching 2.5 to 3 weeks of that. But anything that has to be dealt with, people are available. I'm on top of this. I'm reviewing every case. I'm weighing in on every case that comes in. As I said, I'm here. I've participated in some of the hearings myself. There has been there's an ongoing attempt to release some very dangerous individuals, and that is not acceptable to me. So we're reviewing it on a case-by-case basis, but the office is functioning. As I said, necessary people are here. If they have to come in, they'll come in. But none of our staff really is going to court unless is a real emergency. They're trying to keep people out of the courthouses.
I would suspect that normal trials are not happening as of right now, but hearings are, as you said. In terms of your assistant district attorneys and maybe even some of your investigators that you work with the state police, of course, very closely to do some of these investigations, are they still working as normal, getting out as much as they can to try to continue to gather evidence in some of these cases?
I wouldn't say it's normal operations at all. They have their own limitations that are put in place by the state police. So we are responding to all sudden unattended deaths that we're notified of. Unfortunately, the overdoses, fatal overdoses are still continuing. If we have a homicide, we're going to investigate it, but it's not business as usual for anyone, frankly, in the court system or with a few exceptions anywhere in this state. So, I just saw the head of our state police unit here, excuse me, and the deputy, but they're scaling back what they're doing. They have resource issues.
You have a number of other departments and programs that are under your department. Some dealing with victims of crimes and communicating with them. Are those processes still going forward again more remotely than maybe in person?
That's correct. There's victim contact. We're fielding phone calls from witnesses and victims. We're taking, taking the initiative and calling many of them. Hundreds of trials had to be continued because there was a Supreme Judicial Court order canceling all trials through like the third week of April, and it could even be more at this point. So yes, those people, few have come in. People are coming in to get files that they need, doing limited work here, but they're responding to every inquiry that has to be made. So we're not slowing down at all, other than obviously the reaction to the court shutdown.
Mm.
There's plenty of work to do, and that's what we're doing. As I said, I'm on top of this and making sure matters are addressed properly by our office.
We're hearing a lot more and more. We hear it in New York, but we're hearing it nationwide now that the spread of COVID-19 has been, overwhelming many people, including those that are incarcerated, those in our prison system. And there have been some calls by some social justice advocates that perhaps there should be consideration in terms of releasing some prisoners to sort of constrain any spread within the prisons. And I know that you have joined other district attorneys across the Commonwealth to be opposed to this. Talk about that if you could.
Let me just say this. First of all, I'm concerned about the well-being of everybody. We have heroic medical workers who are putting their lives on the line, trying to help people, grocery workers, first responders, and many other people in critical industries. I'm concerned about the inmates. However, there has to be a rational approach to this. It is a public health emergency, but the mass release of thousands of people is not the answer. I think some people can and are being released. My concern, frankly, is there is going to be an attempt to get many individuals out of custody who are properly there, who are very dangerous individuals. That's taking place right now. We have murder defendants coming forward to get out, serious drug traffickers, very violent people who've committed crimes that any reasonable person would say this person belongs off the street and in custody. So I'm very concerned about that. We have hearings every day here in the Superior Court that address that. I think if the average person saw what some of those hearings were, they'd be shocked at the facts. At a terrible case, child rape of a 6-year-old girl, the individual was trying to get out yesterday. As of that was denied, but we have to be on guard for this because it's not getting out. They may be saying it that low-level nonviolent inmates. It's a lot more to it than that, and that's what I'm on guard for. So I believe in fair treatment. Everybody, the Sheriff's Department have sent an affidavit in this court filing, and the Corrections Department of Corrections have said that they're taking significant precautions to protect the inmates as well they should. And as of today, no one has tested positive in the Bristol County jails. Now that obviously could change, but we're taking it day to day. I think just in anticipation of people potentially getting sick to let them out en masse is the wrong approach. It's not a rational approach. I've agreed to let some people out myself already. I'm responding to inquiries today about people getting out. But I think it's case by case. We're awaiting the decision of the Supreme Judicial Court from yesterday. The ACLU and the public defenders have asked that a number of inmates be released who are serving sentences and not serving sentences. The majority of DAs feel that's not the right approach. The approach is to take it on a case-by-case basis. So I actually am very concerned right now that people who belong in custody will get out, and I'm trying to prevent that in a reasonable way.
Mm. So let me just ask you as we wrap up here, in your estimation, things are as normal as they can be in your office. Prosecutions are continuing as best as they can through your office. And it's just something that we're going to have to get through when all this is over. And it's business as usual as best it can be, correct?
That's correct. The DA's office is functioning well and doing what is necessary to protect the public and fairly address these cases. I'm here in my office now and will be here for the foreseeable future to make sure things are handled the way I want them to be handled, and to make sure the public is protected, and also balancing the rights of others. So we just have to take this day to day. I think people are using, saying everybody is in it together. We are. We all have different roles in this, and my role is to try to act responsibly as a government official to protect the public. I mean, the most important job of government is public safety, and I take that very seriously. If you don't have public safety, you have anarchy, and I think that's what's important. Is not to lose sight of that. You'll have individuals saying, we're talking about non-violent offenders. That's not accurate. They're trying to open the floodgates and get a lot of people out who shouldn't. I'm opposed to that.
All right, District Attorney Tom Quinn, I appreciate your time. Hopefully we'll talk again soon. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate it.